Are you on the straight and narrow, my friend, headed from point A to point B toward your eternal reward, or are you taking a detour because sin has crept back into your life? When the Lord had Moses lead his people out of bondage toward the promised land flowing with milk and honey. Like them, you were held captive by sin and thought for sure, like those slaves in the mud pits of Egypt, that you would die without knowing the sweet taste of freedom. Now, it should have only taken God's people a matter of months to cross the desert into the promised land, but because they lost heart and began to worship idols, they wandered aimlessly in the wilderness for 40 years. Because they had taken their eyes off God and let other things become more important to them, that generation was prevented from entering the promised land to see their new home. Romans 2:29 says that as a Christian, you should have a circumcision of heart that's a kind of spiritual brand that declares that you are no longer the person you once were and hate sin. In like manner, according to Joshua 5:7, those little boys now grown whose fathers had died in the wilderness to never see the promised land because of their disobedience were circumcised as men. Like getting circumcised as an adult, the longer you wait to repent from that sin and stop wandering in the wilderness, the more painful and difficult it's going to be for you to turn away and have that sin cut away from your life.